What's going on, people? Welcome to the LV Live Show. I'm LV Live. Please hit that like, share, subscribe button. Once again, I want to thank all the new subscribers for coming by to my channel, man. It is truly, truly appreciated. Right, so the New York Giants open training camp this week, and you saw a lot of new faces, and you saw a lot of the old faces, but guys just pretty much coming and competing, trying to earn their spot on this roster, which was beautiful, right? So, of course, Big Dexter Lawrence, and he got his big deal, right? So, Andrew Thomas, he got his big deal. And, of course, Daniel Jones, he got his. In the return of Saquon Barkley, even though it's for a one-year deal, $11 million, we still got one of the better running backs in the league back and ready to go in practice, right? He was watching, guys like Evan Neal, right? How did he look at right tackle, right? Is he struggling again, or has he gotten better during this offseason, right? Then you see the new faces, of course, Jalen Hyatt. Then you got guys like Deonte Banks, right? Bobby Akurike, right? From the Colts, right? You have a lot of great new pieces ready to add on to this Giants team that went to the second round of playoffs last year, looking to pretty much, add on to that and maybe go flip, further in the playoffs this year, right? So this was just great to see, man. Training camp was really good. But to me, the biggest thing, the biggest competition, or the biggest thing that you want to see is exactly where do these wide receivers line up, right? We have a lot of wideouts, right? A whole lot of guys, from Sterling Shepard is back, Wan'Dale Robinson, right? We added Cole Beasley, right? We added Jay Crowder. We added a lot of pieces, man, to that wide receiver room. Of course, Paris Campbell from the Colts, right? What is that wide receiver room? We drafted a guy, of course, like, Bryce Ford Wheaton, right, from West Virginia. Colin Johnson is back, right? So where do these guys fit in, and what does that look like? Because we know the key for the Giants this year is we got to stretch it downfield, right? Daniel Jones wasn't good pushing it down the field last year because he didn't have much weapons, right? So it was a lot of running, but now they try to add some strength, to that wide receiver room. So let's kind of take a look at it here, right? That's the key, right? We got to see exactly. You see Sterling Shepard there. We got to see exactly who we're going to have, what it's going to look like, as far as the Giants and what they're going to do. Okay, first guy there who I think is going to make it right there, you see him, Darius Slayton, right? He started off really slow last year, had a hard time buying into the Brian Daboll system. Then he came around late towards last season and had a great season, right? So I think Darius Slayton is going to be the first guy up. Also, too, great speed on the outside. He's definitely going to make the roster, right? Then next, of course, we have Isaiah Hodgins, a guy that we pretty much got off the street, but also a Buffalo guy that Brian Daboll believes in. Came to the Giants last year and played huge for us. Made a lot of big-time catches. Of course, we know his heroics in those playoffs, playing on that bad ankle. Oh, man, that was amazing. Found out later, I think it was close to a fracture, right? He showed pictures of it being bruised, and he played through it and played big in that playoff win against the Vikings. So he's definitely going to make the roster, right? Then you have a next guy here, Paris Campbell, right, who I think is going to be a good slot guy for the Giants. Also can play the outside. Also has speed just like Slayton. I think he's going to be a big-time weapon. He's got to stay healthy. There has been reports that he has a little tendonitis in his knee there, so they're going to watch that and kind of monitor that. But, one guy, he couldn't stay healthy in with the Colts, but he does have a very high upside, and I think he will be a big weapon for Daniel Jones this year, right? Next, Jalen Hyatt, of course. Big-time draft pick out of Tennessee, the Biletnikoff winner. They put up huge numbers with the Volunteers last year, so we have him back, and he's someone that's been coming on strong at camp. A lot of big touchdowns, a lot of deep threats. That's what he showed at Tennessee, and that's what he's been starting to do at camp. Looking good now. He started off slow, but he's starting to get his rhythm, starting to get used to the speed of the NFL somewhat in practices, and has been shining as of late. So Jalen Hyatt definitely is going to make this team, right? Next, a sleeper here who I think is pretty much a lock is going to be Cole Beasley, right? He came from Buffalo. As we all know, NFC East guys, he was at Dallas. He used to kill the Giants back in the day. But Brian Daboll and those guys, they like what he did at Buffalo because they came from that system. So he knows exactly what Brian Daboll wants to do. He knows that offense. So, of course, Daboll brings him in, and he's looking good in camp playing that slot which is just a tough position for any corner to deal with. Those speedy, shifty guys in that middle, and Cole Beasley definitely fits that. So I think he will be a great addition to the offense. Last but not least, the great Sterling Shepard, right? A lot of people are going to say, no, LV, I don't think so, but I think so, right? Shepard, what he is he's a great team guy. On top of his skill set, he's great in the locker room. So he has all the intangibles that the Giants want as far as just being a leader, consistency, availability, as far as even if he's hurt, he's still at the practices, working out, motivating guys, all those things. That's why the Giants brought him back. He's healthy now, so I see him getting that last slot, not just because of production, but just because of all those other little intangibles, like I stated, right? So of course, you know, the guys that are going to be pretty much be out of the loop here are going to be guys like Bryce Ford Wheaton, guys like Colin Johnson, right? But you know, those guys, listen, man, look, they're going to be great. How can I say? Practice squad guys, right? They're going to be great for stuff like that if the Giants decide to keep them. I don't know if they decide to keep Colin Johnson. They're going to keep maybe one or the two, but I can see them keeping definitely Bryce Ford Wheaton, right? They see something in him. He's a big receiver. He showed that at West Virginia. I just think he's on the outside looking in with all these guys that are pretty much going to be transitioning, into the position and starting for the Giants, right? So this is going to be exciting. It really truly is, because now Daniel Jones has some weapons, right? To me, this is the biggest battle in camp. I think that you're trying to figure out exactly who's going to make the team. Colin Johnson definitely has an opportunity to make the team. So does Bryce Ford Wheaton. But who do you take out and put in those slots? And a guy, that I forgot, that's going to probably start off on a pup list is going to be Wan'Dale Robinson. So we forgot about him as well. He's still there with the Giants, right? Coming out of Kentucky last year, he hurt his ACL last year. But great electric player, has a lot of speed. He's to me, he's like a Cole Beasley 2.0, right? He has those skill sets. But he's going to be on a pup list, right? So there's a lot of guys. It's a small room, man. It's only one ball. There's a lot of guys that they got to really try to, fit into that offense. So what do? You let me know. What say you? Do you put in Colin Johnson? Do you take out a couple of other guys? Do you not bring back Shep? Do you let Shep just maybe be a player coach or just a coach helping out? What do you do? It's a lot of good pieces that the Giants can pick from. Listen, it's a good problem to have, right? It's a good problem to have. It really is, because having those weapons and now being able to pick and choose who you feel is going to be a best fit for what this offense loves to do, right? So that's very exciting. But the Giants had a great camp. Right, let's take a look here at the highlights here. Great first week of camp, man. Great first week of camp. Like I said, you have a lot of young players who are trying to make their mark, right? Of course, the big competition also, too, is at corner, right? Deonte Banks coming in there from Maryland, but a big guy that's coming in, a sleeper from ODU, a rookie, Trey Hawkins, right, is playing great in camp. He's looking like he's going to lock down that number 3 corner spot along with Cordell Flott. Is going to be probably number 4. Both of those guys might be switching in and out playing the slot. But I think Trey Hawkins can also play on the outside as well. So he's going to be great, right? Then also, too, if you're trying to figure out who's going to be at that safety, right? Jason Pinnock, I think, is going to be outside of Xavier McKinney, playing that opposite side of him. So I think he's played well at camp. He made that beautiful one-handed interception in training camp. He looks great. As you see here, Saquon Barkley looking great. Didn't skip a beat, right? Even though he's out of camp, he did not skip a beat, man. It looks great. So back to the safeties, right? So we have to see exactly how that's going to look, how that's going to break down. It looks like Jason Pinnock has that slot pretty much locked in, right? So now it's for the corners, right? But a guy like Trey Hawkins, man, has been exceptional in camp. He's really made a guy like Wink Martindale really open his eyes and say, wow, we really like what this guy brings to the table here. Right, he's late draft pick, like I said, from a small school in ODU. Didn't play against a lot of great competition in college, but hey, man, it doesn't matter. Once you get to this league, it's all about who's the best and who can really rise to the occasion and really show their true skill sets, going against the best football players in the world. Right, that's where you really show your talent. even though you came from a small school, it doesn't matter, right? Darian Beavers, right? He's from ODU, right? Small school, excuse me, not Darian Beavers, O'Shea Zimenez, right? He's from ODU, right? Small school, just like Trey Hawkins. So these guys understand that when you're small school guy, you got to come in and you got to be at your best, right? You got to really produce at a high clip, right? So, it's great to see, man. The Giants are looking good. Their young guys are looking good. So it's really, really exciting season. Like I said, coming up, we got the Lions coming up in our first preseason game. The season is right around the corner. You see the ticker down there. September 10th is when we open up, 8:30 p.m. The Giants and the Cowboys. Doesn't get any better than this, right? But that's my show. I'm LV Live. Please hit that like, share, subscribe button. Hit that like button. Hit that like button, people, right? Also, too, if it's your first time coming by, please leave comments and please subscribe. All right? I'm LV Live, and that's my show, and I'm out, people. Peace.